I'm Emma, and this is my Broken Not Dead story. So I grew up pretty normal until my parents got divorced. And then soon after that, I started having panic attacks and crying a lot. I kind of had like some issues with school. I talked a lot, and I didn't really like to listen a lot. I would just kind of get up and walk around at school, and I got diagnosed with ADHD and then also OCD. I was constantly washing my hands and counting my steps and like weirdly touching things that, the teacher told me not to touch it, but I felt like if I didn't touch it that something bad would happen. And so I kind of did really bad in first grade, and so they held me back. And then in 7th grade, I started experiencing depression and really bad anxiety. I started having suicidal thoughts. So I cut myself for the first time in 7th grade. And it was kind of like a one-time thing, because after that I kind of was like, "You're crazy, Emma. Why would you do that?" So I kind of tried to just kind of like get over my depression. I didn't deal with it. I didn't go to a doctor about it or go to therapy or really talk to anyone about it. I just kind of left it where it was. I didn't really tell anyone. No one knew that I was dealing with it until high school when I got really bad. And in 9th grade, I started cutting myself again, but this time it was very different. I cut myself a lot. It was pretty much every night. I didn't know what else to do. I was very depressed. I was very suicidal. I was still going to school and trying to make sure that everyone thought that I was okay, but in the background, I didn't really care about school because I was planning on killing myself. And at this point, this was the 3rd time that I had been through this cycle of I'm happy and then I'm not. I did something a little different than I had the last 2 times. I was at my sister's, and I had a really good night with her and my nephews, and I was very happy. But I left her house. When I got to the train tracks, something switched in my brain, and I decided that that was a good way to leave. I'd rather leave happy than I would to leave in a time where I was truly upset. So I drove to the bridge, and I parked my car, and I got out, and I started walking towards the edge to jump off. I called my best friend. I wanted to talk to her one last time, and I knew that she would want to talk to me one last time. I was crying, and I didn't want to kill myself, but I felt like there was no other option. Right about the time where I was about to sit my phone down and hang up with her so she didn't hear me scream and jump off, a police officer came up. So he parked behind my car, and he got out and he said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I said, "My tire's flat." And he said, "No, it's not. It's not flat." He came over and he just hugged me, and I must have cried out like 7 years worth of tears at that moment. So what's cool about this officer is that he was actually off work at this point, and he had gotten to leave about 15 minutes early. No other cars were stopping. No one was kind of noticing that what I was about to do. But since he left work 15 minutes early, he was able to come and kind of save me from myself. He kind of asked me what was going on and, what I was doing, why I was trying to do that. And I think I literally said, I don't know. I just don't know what else to do. He was like, God sent me here. This was God's plan, and, God's not done with you yet. And, there's more to my story. And because of God sending him to that spot at that time, I was able to graduate high school. Now I'm in college and trying to pursue becoming a doctor. I'm still a worship leader. I've had a million amazing opportunities to do that. As a leader and as a worship leader, there have been a lot of times where I've thought, what a hypocrite you are to be dealing with this. How can you stand up there and lead people in worship when you're not, in a good place in your life? The truth is that that's probably one of the only things that got me through. Personally, I don't think that it matters where you are in your life. God can still use you. And I'm a true testament of that. God has used me to be a leader and be a worship leader specifically and do other things through my church, even though I'm dealing with depression and suicidal thoughts. And I have physical scars and I have emotional scars, and God still finds ways to use me. I definitely still struggle with it. It's not something that night everything just got better. So it's still kind of a daily thing that I go through. There's still a lot of times where I get upset and I immediately go to that thought of maybe you should have jumped, or maybe you should go do it now. And when my mind starts telling me that everyone in my life is tired of me or annoyed with me and they don't love me, I have to remind myself that that's not true, and those are all lies that the devil has put in my mind. None of that is real. What is real is that I have people who love me, that I have a Savior who loves me and who died for me, and that I have people who are literally willing to drop everything to come and make sure that I'm still in their life.